Morning, I'm Nikki Fagbemi. I'm an actor, writer, and owner of Access to Create Workshop, which is a practical workshop for disabled creatives in a film and TV industry. I am Nigerian. I'm based in the UK, and I'm really excited to be here for Just for Women Europe.
This is Just for Women Euro, connecting women across borders. When did you first discover your passion for acting?
I've definitely always loved performing or just loved storytelling. I think as a child, my favorite actor, especially I grew up watching Nollywood with my family and Genevieve Naij, I think that's how you say her name, Unlanji. But she was like just my favorite. I think the film is it Blood Sisters with her and oh my gosh, my mind's gone blank, but there's another actor. And I just loved it. I loved the possibility of playing something so far removed from me because I've just seen Genevieve in so many roles. And I think her in Blood Sisters, I was just so shocked because she was playing like the mean sister. Or was it called, I think it was called Blood Sister. Yeah. Like just her playing like kind of like a villain. And yeah, there was just something about that definitely made me interested. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do that, but I didn't know if there was actually like a career path with that. But yeah, definitely from around the age of like 10, 11, 12.
How did you land the role of Zara in Banana, and what did that experience mean to you?
That was kind of what started everything off. So that was actually my first ever TV audition. So all my auditions before that were for short films and student projects and kind of like YouTube productions. And I just signed with my first agent at the time, and because of how yeah, they were really strict with the information of Banana, so they actually didn't share what Banana was. So me and my agent at the time, we actually thought it was for a Nollywood production and we didn't know it was for Russell T Davis. We had no idea, and I was just excited to have a TV audition. Didn't think I would even get through the first round because I heard also so many kind of other TV names going up, and that was my first audition. So I was just grateful to have an audition, and it went really well. And I always say Banana is one of those things that just keeps, even though it was one of the first things I've done, it just keeps doors open for me.
What was it like working on the series created by Russell Davies?
I would say it was dreamy because everything on set, everyone on set, I don't know, as coming into this industry, you hear so many stories about, I don't know, attitudes or how people could be on set. But for that being my first experience, it felt like I was with family. We filmed it in Manchester, so I was away from home. We had incredible conversations. It was a very supportive cast. I didn't meet Russell while filming, but he texted me, I think on like the third night of filming when he got the slides, and he just thanked me for bringing his role, Zara, to life. And I was just so, I think I was really humbled because I didn't think he would be kind of like thanking me, but I really appreciated how nice and kind he was.
Looking back, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned during your early years in the industry?
Definitely believing in myself more because that stage of my life, especially when you're still starting out with something and you don't really have confidence, you overthink everything. You kind of feel like you don't deserve to be there. I felt like I didn't deserve to be there. I didn't feel experienced enough, and it was like years later, me really realizing kind of the people I went up for, and I was just like, if they think you're good enough for the role, why? Yes, I think learning not to exist in imposter syndrome and just be confident in your gifts. That was definitely what I learned because I wasn't confident at that stage of my life.
You have worked in film, theater production, and commercials. Which medium do you enjoy the most and why?
Because of my health challenges, I've always stuck with film and TV because that's where I felt safest. You can press cut, but I'm actually working on a one woman play at the moment, and I'm making my Edinburgh Fringe debut this year. And before working on this, I would definitely say TV and film is my favorite production. There's more budget, there's more to play with. You can really kind of push your story, but I feel like there's like something about being, especially because I'm working on a one woman play right now, there's something really special about like the intimacy of theatre. And yeah, I'm really falling back in love with theatre again after kind of running away from it for so long. So I would definitely say between film and TV and theatre.
What advice would you give to women facing health challenges while trying to build a career?
I would say understand that your health challenges are not always negative. Your health challenges can be your superpower. I had to learn that. If I didn't lean into my health challenges, why me wouldn't exist. Why me was something that I had to write, and it was something I didn't. I've always kind of hidden my health challenges. Even while I was on set for Banana, no one knew I had sickle cell or anything, and that kind of played a part in why I wasn't confident. So I would tell women to tell their stories, especially women with health challenges in this industry, because there's so many other women or just anyone in this industry suffering in silence because we don't really talk about it enough, which is why I've started my Access to Create workshop to help and bring together other disabled creatives in this industry, because there's really is power in numbers and representation, and telling your stories, opening the doors for it's just so many generations to come after you. So I just think it's so important. Like it's bigger than us. I always have to tell myself that even when I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just like, this is bigger than me.
What inspired you to write your first script, Why Me, and star in a story that you also wrote?
That was definitely a massive challenge again, kind of part of the imposter syndrome. I had taken a break from acting for a very long time, and I was a financial analyst and I'd worked in various banks. So I thought, that was it now. And pandemic happened. And ironically, it was actually because of I had a really health scare, bad health scare around the pandemic time, and I actually was managed out of my workplace, and I was absolutely gutted. I thought life was over, all of that kind of stuff. And there was just something in pandemic. I just had a switch in my brain, and I was like, do you know what? I've been wanting to write. Maybe now is the time. And I literally said to myself, I'm gonna be a writer and I'm gonna go for it. And I got the commission with Sky for Why Me 2 weeks after I said that. And Why Me was not the film I wanted to write. I just wanted to write comedy. And while I was, teaching myself how to write in the story that I wanted to write, I had a few crises part of the process, and there was a meeting we had with the Why Me team, and I was actually on a hospital bed and I was trying to hide it. And that's when one of my executive producers, Kobe Adam, he mentioned, he was like, I think this would be really powerful if you included this in Why Me. And I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. And then I went away and I really thought about it, and I felt like 10-year-old me would have needed to see Why Me, would have really kind of encouraged me. So that was a big reason for other people to feel represented on screen. I don't really, especially that was before Supercells. I don't before that I haven't really seen sickle cell on a big screen. So that felt important for me to do.
Why is it important to tell stories about African women and women of color?
Representation. And also because Black women are not a monolith, and sometimes we hand our stories over to other people that don't know the walks, and then they write the same type of women in the same font. And in Black women we come with in so many various and diverse personalities, shapes, sizes, walks of life. And I think if we just expect the same people to keep writing the same characters, we're never gonna get the representation we need. It's kind of like how I feel when men write women in TV shows. You can always tell a woman that's been written by a man. You're just like, that's not realistic. So I feel like we need more women to write, more women of color, more African women to write what they know about African women, and that's when we're really going to start to see an actual representation of what it really is to be a Black woman.
How can a woman tell the difference of a script written by a man or a woman?
Every woman can tell that. The same way now, that's why I'm so passionate about telling disabled people they need to write. The same way I could tell when a non-disabled person, an able-bodied person has written a disabled character, and you're like, like, when a man writes a woman, especially when it's like a woman lives alone, she comes home and she's like, ah, and she sits down and she goes to the kitchen. Women don't do that, especially if you live alone. You're flinging everything up and you're getting straight into bed. Like, but the way men see women, they're not gonna, you know, translate that on screen. They're gonna write it as like kind of like a fantasy. Whereas a woman is gonna write a woman that's like, girl, I'm working from home. I probably haven't put my bra on all this week, or whereas a man's gonna have her putting on her best makeup, waking up, everything is so whatever. You're just like, as a woman, especially a woman who loves being glamorous, who loves all of that, you're just like, uh, who's this woman? Like, and it's just so, yeah, it's just so unnatural, and that's how I feel about. Because I've seen scripts, or I've been part of writers' rooms where they wanted a white man to write the black woman, and I'm just like, I beg your pardon. And that it just shows how far we are in the industry, especially for black representation. They don't feel like we need autonomy over our own voices. And that's something that happens to women all across, so let alone a black woman or African woman. Because even white women don't even get to write white women. White men write white women. So imagine what chance we're gonna get. So I always say we have a long way to go. We have a long, long way to go.
What excites you most about the future of television and streaming platforms?
The different stories, I feel like as a whole, the audience, because basically like TV, it's a business. They keep putting out the same shows over and over again, the kind of shows that have done well. They don't want to take risk, and that's been the way it's been working, and it doesn't work for like the representation of actual story. I'm a big lover of story before anything else. If a show's good, what is the story in it? And I feel like we've got to a point where the audience are fighting back. The audience are like, no, we've seen this a million and one time again. And that's like where we get to a situation where remakes are being made rather than new stories, because production companies do not want to take the risk. And it's like there's so many new stories, so many untouched area that we haven't even discovered. And I feel like we're finally get into the spaces, and even that's something like I tell women, you have to write the story only you can tell, and that's the only way we're going to make that change and give the audience something new. But I feel like it's still a while away, but I'm so grateful that I've started to see the change and just see the audience saying, no, we're not watching TV until you guys give us something we actually want to watch. And that's why people say TV's dying. But I'm like, is TV actually dying, or people are just bored? So I'm hopeful, but I also at the same time I won't hold my breath, because I'm like, there's still a long way to go.
What message would you like to leave for young women who dream of becoming actors, writers, or filmmakers?
I will say take risk. Take risk. Some of the risks that I've taken has been the reason why I have results today. Like for instance, before I got Banana, I was actually in a drama school that a lot of people know. And while I was in that drama school, I just felt like I wasn't growing, I wasn't learning. But I had so many friends in the drama school, and everyone's like, no, don't leave. We have such a great time. And I was just like, I pay so much money for this drama school that it shouldn't feel like a youth club. So I decided to leave. And when I left, 3 months later, I got my audition for Banana. And if I didn't leave that drama school, I would have never booked the role. So it was like, you have to trust it, your intuition. Your intuition is kind of what brought you this far, and also be honest with yourself. One of the best advice that I was given when I started writing in a pandemic was write stories that only you can tell. And I've noticed when I write stories that only I can tell, like the reception from production companies, I'm not competing with anyone. Because even with my one woman show that I'm taking to Edinburgh, it's based on a woman on stage receiving blood exchange. I get blood exchanges every 6 weeks. No one else could write that but me, and no one else could write it in a dark, funny way. And now me preparing to go to Edinburgh, all the venues in Edinburgh that have been there for 50 years, they're like, we've never seen a story like this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I actually didn't think there was space for it. And it's just a reminder to write the stories that only you can tell. And when you write the stories that only you can tell, they can't cheat you out of it because they need you to finish that story. They can't sack you halfway through and get another woman because that person hasn't walked your shoes. So I always tell people, if you want as minimal competition or whatever, write this. Number one, write the story that only you can tell, and write the story that scares you so much. The story that when you think about it, you're like, no, no. I always tell people, yeah, that's the one you need to write, because that's how I was when I was told, why don't you include sickle cell and why me? I was like, oh hell no. And the conversations I've had off the back of that has changed my life. I work with Oxford University now on their blood research team because I wrote Why Me. It's like, all because I wrote a story that only I could tell, only I could write. That's one thing, because that way you don't have to worry about competing with anyone else. Like, that's your lane and no one can argue with it because it's your life. So yeah, write the story that only you can tell, and the story that scares you the most. I always say, if it doesn't scare you, uh-uh, uh-uh, uh-uh.
How can a woman better support one another in their personal and professional journey?
Collaborate. One another good advice that I got from my mentor is network across. When you're starting out or you're mid-level, everyone's so obsessed with the people that have won the Grammys, Oscars, all these people. They don't have time for you. They don't have time for you. My mentor always tells me, especially like when, we kind of have networking events, and she will say to me, look around you. The future BAFTA winners are in this room. The future Oscar winners are in this room. The future director of the year in this room. While you're starting out, while you don't have people lining up, collaborate. You're an actor. Go and find a director in your network. Send them your showreel. Send them your work. You're a director. Go and find a producer and make magic. Stop waiting for people at the top to give you the recognition you need. Make the work that you want to see. Put it out there, and I promise it will come back, and it will take you to the next step. And just like, yeah, network across and stop focus on the people that have made it, because they've made it. They've made it, they've done it. They can sleep now. You are still putting in that work. And also it's they don't get anything out of it, so that that it won't kind of encourage them to help people. When you're working with people on the same level and you're trying to grow together, you're all of you are hungry, you're both putting everything in. And I just feel like when I have seen and I've been a part of that, the results are always beautiful. So I just always say network across rather than focusing on people at the top.
What is the future? What is the future for Nikki Fagbemi in the next 5 to 10 years?
Next 5 to 10 years, I would definitely have at least one TV commission. I've written 3 pilot TV scripts that 2 of them have been receiving great reception from production companies and TV channels, and my agent is kind of getting it out there. And I've been really proud of the writing that I've done recently. I will definitely do more work around disability advocacy. Also written my first children's book around, being different. I've written a book called Summer and Her Bruised Wing. It's about a bird that, can't fly like her other friends. And also my workshop. I'm doing my second Access to Create workshop with Channel 4 next month. And I'm really excited to see where that grows, and just knowing that there's so many people in the industry that has been impacted by that workshop that I created in a time where I felt like there was no help in the industry. So I put all of the resources that I've researched, put it together, and I know that it will help other people. So I just want to keep writing, creating honest stories, and also impacting other people to kind of be the best that they can be, and not letting their challenges or adversities hold them back. I would say use your adversities as a springboard and just don't let it tie you down.
Thank you for watching Just for Women Europe.